Hello everybody. Today we're going to go over stoves and pots and things you can do with stoves, how to make some stoves. Well, we're not going to learn how to make stoves, but you know. I'm going to show you different stoves that are easy to make and are very efficient and are not expensive. You won't break the bank on them. Up first tonight is the Super Cat stove. Very basic design, made out of a cat food can. You can see the jets there on the outside. Pour on your alcohol, stick the lighter right there, and you're done. This lighter. So, and then you have a good, nice, solid burn on the outside of it. Next up, we have the BIOS from Mini Bull Design, made by Tinny. You can still buy these on his website. This is the BIOS 2.2. You can get the BIOS 1.0 or the BIOS 4.4, or, you know, these are real good stoves right here. I've used this on a lot of backpacking trips. This here has got to be one of my favorite. Next up, we have a knockoff of Tinny's atomic stove. It has jets on the inside this time. These stoves here had the jets on the outside, but this one has the jets on the inside. And I'll show you why. Jets on the outside, which you probably want if you're getting if you have a wide pot such as this basic grease pot. You have your stove here, and it's blossoming out from the outside, all the flames coming out and around it. Put your pot on, and it'll blossom out here on the sides of the pot. If you had a stove like this one, you would have to use a pot stand, because you cannot set a pot directly on the stove. You will snuff it out. There will be you will just completely kill it. But this one, it'd take a lot longer to boil. It would still work, but it'd take a lot longer to boil because it's burning into the center of the pot, right in that little area right there. Whereas a stove like this is burning all around the pot, the middle, everywhere. And with this one, you don't need a pot stand. You can just set it right on. And if you're really concerned about weight, which, I'm not really that concerned about weight. If you're really that concerned about weight, you can take that out. There you go. Alright. And that's all the stoves I have for tonight. So let's go over pots. You already have seen this one if you watched my dad's video on this Kmart grease pot. You already know about this, but grease pot right there. It has a strainer when you buy it. Very good for cooking pasta and such. Perfect little pot. And it's not that tall. It's not huge. It's about the size of my hand. So it's not a huge pot, that you will have like gallons of water you're going to boil. So it's just about perfect for, cooking meals, two, maybe even if you're, maybe 3 people can use this one. Real good pot. Recommend it for anybody starting out, or if you're so experienced, it's a great pot. Let's kind of skip a beat here. This is not a pot, but for those of you who do freezer bag cooking, this here is just the way to go. It's a, I do believe it is GSI. Yes, it is a GSI kettle. Has this little coffee maker or tea maker. You put your tea bag or coffee grounds in there. Make yourself some coffee. There's the inside of your kettle. And this here you can use again with a Super Cat or a BIOS. Set it right on. And when your water is boiling, you can pour it. You might want to hold the lid. Pour it into your freezer bag, and then your meal is cooking. Alright, back to the pots. Alright, back to the pots. Next up, we have the GSI Duelist pot. This here is a whole cook set, as you can see. I'm not going to go through that because my dad has already posted a video on all the ins and outs of this cook set, so I'm not going to take the time to do that. But it's a very, very, very sturdy pot. Nothing's going to really get through that. You can cook, You can cook a good meal in here, good big meal. And so you can see those little holes right there? That's so you can strain your pasta. And my dad has a video and it shows him doing that too. So, you know, your water's boiling, you know, your pasta's cooking. Strain the water out and you're left with your good pasta in there. And that's my dad when he's cooking macaroni and cheese on the trail. You can see that. There's trail kitchen type videos. Alright, next pot. We are going away from wide pots. This here is a Heineken pot. And from what you've learned already, you know that this type of stove will not work. You need a pot stand for this. And we have our little DIY atomic. And then we'll set on our pot. And that's the setup of the Heineken pot. I'm sad to say that they are not making these cans anymore, but you might be able to find one up for sale somewhere. I can't give you any links, I'm sorry. If I do find something out, I'll post it up somewhere. So it's just a real great little pot. It has a one of those little rubber bracelets like the one I'm wearing. It's a lip guard. So when your water's hot, you know, and you fixed up yourself some good brew, like a good bit of cocoa or some coffee in here, you won't burn your mouth on the metal. And it's got a nice little lid. Alright. Next up, we still have our stove and our pot stand. This here is my little half pot. You gotta have some artwork. Alright. Little DIY lid I made myself with some foil tape. It's got like the little Boy Scout type insignia on there, which was actually kind of lucky for me because I used a cookie tin and it had that fleur-de-lis symbol on there, and so I kind of thought it was kind of neat. Alright, let's get into the pot itself. It also has a lip guard like the Heineken pot did. Let me just kind of move that down a bit. It's made out of an aluminum water bottle that I just cut in half. And my good friend, he had some of this insulation tape, and so he hooked me up with that. He got this insulation tape all around it, and these big burn marks you see on there, that's from about the first 3 times I burned it, and I've burned it about 6, 7, probably 8, about 9 times I've burned this. Yeah, just about 9. I'm trying to figure them all out here, and those burn marks have not grown. They are just about the same. So, I mean, after the first couple burns, you're going to get these burn marks on there if you use this insulation tape if you want to make your own pot like I did. But, you know, it's not going to really affect it that much. Yet again, I need a smaller pot stand, which is good about these. I just made some hooks with this one, so I can curl it up and hook it on there. As you can see right there, I can curl it up and hook it on. As long as it fits around the stove, my pot can sit comfortable on it. I made a good pot stand. And that there is for, you know, meals that don't require that much water, or, you know, meals you want real quick, you know. Or if you're in a place that doesn't have a lot of water, that's something about when you're backpacking. Know where you're going. Know what kind of resources you will have on the trail. If you need to carry a lot of water, if you don't need to carry that much water. If you can purify the water, if the water is like swamp water. So really, it's all about where you're going. Depends on what kind of gear you use. I mean, if we're going on a, you know, it depends on what kind of trip we're going on. I mean, I could use any one of these right here, and especially this one. I'm going to be using this on the upcoming backpacking trip that our Boy Scout troop's going on. This bad boy. And it depends on what I want to cook too. If I want to do a nice, good freezer bag meal, I'll bring the trusty kettle. You know, really any of these could go for a freezer bag meal. That has a little hole right there. I could almost treat that like a kettle. Hold that down and do like that. But, I mean, if I really wanted a kettle, I'm going to use the kettle. Whoa. One interesting feature about the Duelist that I need to cover is its bag here. And in the review, I just want to show this because this is so neat. In the review, my dad probably covered this, but still, it bears repeating. This here is the bag for the Duelist. And this here is a sink. You can fill this up with water, not one drop will get out. It is a great sink. And that's for the duelist. So pick your gear, choose wisely, have fun in the outdoors. I'll see y'all out there. Bye guys.